topic will be handled by a very competent trainer, speaker, coach, a renowned leadership consultant, Dr. Elvis Opaka.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's a great honor to be here this morning. The topic of today says leadership essentials. Well, let me begin by just making a bold statement here that everything rises and falls on leadership, meaning what you achieve in life or fail to achieve in life boils down to leadership. In other words, your leadership capacity places a ceiling to what you can achieve in life. You can achieve or give what you don't have. So if you don't have it, you can't give it. So what am I saying here? Nothing happens without leadership. Nothing begins without leadership. Nothing improves in organization, in family, in the nation without leadership. Nothing develops without leadership. Nothing changes without leadership. Nothing progresses in one's life, organization, or a nation without leadership. Nothing succeeds in life without leadership. So in a nutshell, like I place here, leadership is life. You are not truly living if you are not leading. The question now is, are you a leader? Nations, families, and businesses are a reflection of the people who run them. If the leader in charge of steering the ship lacks the leadership qualities and skills necessary to lead others towards achieving a common goal, then these shortcomings will be reflected back into the system. True and lasting leadership is never bestowed upon anybody. It is earned. Today, we see people carrying titles, CEO, MD, whatever. That does not make you a leader. Leadership is far beyond those titles or prefaces before your name. There are people without titles, yet they are doing great and mighty things and making huge impact to humanity because they've earned it. Why is the subject of leadership so critical today? Like Warren Buffett just said, a business short on capital can borrow money, and one with poor location can move. But a business short on leadership has little chance of survival, meaning you can have a capital, you can have enough money, you can have a good location, but if it is short of leadership, sooner or later, everything will go down to the drain because you are not able to manage what you have. And that goes to let us know how important leadership is in our living today. The question now is, what is leadership? If you type the word leadership on Google, you will have nothing less than 637 million results. Why? Because leadership have been given different definitions by everyone. In fact, having gone through a lot of definitions, I came down to a resolute and narrow it down and said that leadership is an influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real changes and outcomes that reflect their shared purposes. Pay attention very well. Influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real changes and outcomes that reflect their shared purposes. Now, a leader itself is a visionary who influences, inspires, motivates, communicates, persuades, and energizes followers to do what ordinarily they may not be willing to do themselves towards achieving a common purpose. Now, looking at these two definitions, there are two common denominators. If you look at them very well, it's what? Influence. And secondly, shared purposes or common purpose. Meaning a leader has an aim, an objective to achieve, then he needs something to make it achieve that, and that is influence. Therefore, aligning followers towards achieving a shared purpose becomes a burden without influence. Leadership becomes a burden. It becomes a Herculean task if you cannot influence those who are following. Nobody is willing to follow if you cannot influence them. I always tell people who are in a position of leadership, I tell them, look, the people that you are leading, if given an option, would they still be with you or they will go away? If you cannot answer that question, there's a problem. Because if given an option, they will go. Then it means you are not really leading them. What is actually holding them is probably maybe the carrots that are just handling to them, maybe the salary or something. There's no influence, there's nothing. So meaning they can go away from you. Abraham Lincoln made a statement. He said, no man is good enough to govern another man without the other's consent. But Easton puts it this way. He said, the led must not be compared. They must be able to choose their own leader. and I can't force them to choose me. They can only choose me by what they see in my life that draws them to me. And that is influence. The question is, what is influence? The word influence simply means your ability to change the development of fluctuating things such as conduct, opinions, thoughts, or decisions of others. It is an action exerted by a person with such power on another to cause change. Really, there are people who exert influence on you. There are certain decisions you can't take because there is someone that will tell you, don't do it, you won't do it, because you respect them. There is something about them that over the years, you have come to respect them and follow them. When a husband and wife is having a problem, being a wise wife, she knows the person she will call that will talk to her husband immediately, that the man will calm down. Because he knows, if I could call that uncle, if I could call that pastor, if I could call this person, I know my husband will listen. That action that he wants to take, he won't take it again. Why? Because those people have an influence over him. So you discover that you can't do without influence as a leader. If you have no influence, you are not leading. If you talk and nobody is ready to follow you, you are not leading. There's what I call the ripple effect of influence. A ripple effect works because everyone influences everyone else. Powerful people are powerful influencers. If your life works, you influence your family. If your family works, your family influences the community. If your community works, your community influences the nation. If your nation works, your nation influences the world. And if your world works, the ripple effect spread across the cosmos, the universe. That is the word of John Heder. That's to let you know how powerful influence can be. Now, listen carefully here. One powerful thing about the concept of leadership is that even the worst of human beings can make a difference when they possess the power of influence, either positive or negative. Very critical. You have to understand this. One powerful thing about the concept of leadership is that even the worst of human beings can make a difference when they possess the power of influence, either positive or negative. Take, for instance, who do you see on the screen?
Adolf Hitler.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to ask a question. Was Adolf Hitler, was he a leader or not?
Yeah. He was a leader.
He was a leader because he had an influence, but that influence was on a negative direction. I call him a pseudo transformational leader because instead of transforming people on a positive side, he transformed them on a negative note in such a way that he actually wanted the Germans to develop a deep hatred for the Jews, that over 6 million Jews were gassed and killed. They had influence. The same thing is also with a man, I call him Reverend Jim Jones. We all know him very well. In 1978, he was a pastor. He convinced his congregation that all of them will die and go to heaven. That was the worst deception that could ever happen to humanity. He took them to one island in Guatemala and he cooked some pots of poisons and gave every one of them to drink except himself and his household. All his members, over 90%, died in that forest. They believed him because he has so much influence on them, but on a negative direction. So that's to let you know how powerful influence can be when you have it. The question now is, how does influence come? How does influence come? There are two major sources of influence. Number one, what you do for yourself that others would want to see in their lives. And secondly, what you do for others that enhances their lives positively. Really, there are certain things people see in your life that draws an attraction to them. You say, wow, I wish I could be like Dr. Shegun. In fact, I just like the way he speaks. Look at the achievement he has made so far. I just like brother this or that. I just like sister this. In fact, look at her nature. Look at her. Those are some qualities that you have invested in your own life that others are seeing that causes an attraction. Now, it goes beyond that to what I call again number two. What you do now, what you not do for them that enhances their life positive. Let's begin with number one. What you do for yourself. I call that the power of self-leadership. The question, what is self-leadership? Self-leadership is the process of influencing oneself to establish the self-direction and motivation needed to perform. It is your capacity to and commitment both to take full responsibility for your own responses to life situation and create a life that is personally meaningful and fruitful. One key thing about self-leadership is your own ability to influence yourself, to do what is right, to motivate yourself to perform, and to achieve the needed result for success in life. Thomas Watson made a statement. He said, nothing so conclusively proves a man's ability to lead others as what he does from day to day to lead himself. I love that. He said, nothing so conclusively proves a man's ability to lead other people as what he does from day to day to lead himself. Meaning, leadership begins with you before others. Until you have successfully led yourself, you have no right to lead others. You can't tell me there is a beam or there's a speck in my eyes when there is a beam in your eyes. How did you see that there is a speck in my eyes when there is something covering your eyes? So that brings us to the 5 domains of leadership. Self-leadership, number 1. You lead yourself well, then you can lead others. There is the foundation of all leadership. I always ask people in my leadership class, did anybody remind you to brush your mouth this morning? Of course not. Did someone remind you to, clean your shoe, button up your shirt before you left this morning? Of course not. But there was a time in your life that all these things were taken care of. You were giving pampers, you were doing all that for you, and there was no problem. You wake up in the morning, you start screaming for food, no problem. Mommy will provide that for you. You wake up in the morning, you don't even greet anybody, you just go because you are a baby, and it's expected of a baby. But a time came when you became 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You wake up in the morning at the age of 8, 9. You don't greet dad, you don't greet mom. You start screaming for food. You wee on yourself. You don't brush. Then it becomes a source of concern to the parents. Something is wrong somewhere. So when you pass this test of self-leadership, now you can now lead someone. I remembered when I was in primary school, I have 2 younger ones. When I was going to school then, my mom would say, please hold them, ensure that you look left, look right before you cross the road. Why? Because she entrusted or believed in my capacity to do so because she has seen that I have already started leading myself. There are children or some people you won't tell that because you know their ways. They will leave them. So because I have passed the test of self-leadership at that stage, she can entrust my 2 younger ones to me so that I can take them to school with her being at ease, that there won't be problem. I was going to Cotonou some time ago to go and buy a car. I think I ran the Akara side towards going to, Cotonou side. A young boy was playing along the road with catapult. He had a younger sister with him. They were going to school. He was much older, probably he looks like a 12-year-old boy. The younger sister is like 6 years old or 5. And he didn't care about the younger sister. He was busy aiming some bird on the road, on the tree. He crossed the road. As usual, little children, my brother has crossed. I must follow. Whether car is passing or not, I must follow my brother. Himself didn't care about the younger sister. He crossed and left her. So he has not led himself. So it was wrong giving him such leadership role to take his younger sister to school. As he crossed, he didn't care. The younger sister followed. He can't knock this girl. She died instantly on the road. It was a very pitiable situation. Then he threw away his catapult. He was crying. I looked at it. I learned a lesson there. The mother made a mistake. This one has not led himself well. So it was wrong giving him someone to lead. So when you have passed the test of self-leadership, you can lead someone. It is wrong to lead someone when there are still issues in your own personal life. Now, when you have passed this test of leading yourself, leading someone, then you can now move forward to lead a group. That is how leadership will move. then you can lead a group. Then this is when, as I remember when we were in primary school, this is when teachers begin to notice your leadership role in class. Then they can make you a class monitor, because they can see the way you act, the way you behave, the way you relate with others, the way you settle quarrels. Then they see some leadership trait in you. Then, okay, you become a class monitor. I remember when I was growing up in the village, when they see that, they say, okay, you are the class monitor. In fact, as a matter of fact, I remember when I was in primary 3, primary 4, they made me a class monitor. And because I was very, very furious with so many people in class, I was flogging everyone, writing names. They said, the whole class, they revolted. They said, no, this guy owns too much. And this teacher now came, they investigated. I know the way I was taking it, that I have to be removed. They removed me as class monitor. I have to learn my own lesson. So leading a group, I was asked to come down because I was writing people's name. They were noisemakers, whereas some of them, I asked them for sweets, they didn't give me, I put their name down. So I was not leading, that was not a good example. So I was asked to step down. I have to learn my lesson very well. So I cannot lead a group well if I am intimidating them. Recently, I was watching the making of Dubai. You know, it's really amazing to see how this desert land, as at 30 years ago, it was not a place to be. But under 20, 30 years, they turn it to another thing entirely. That many Nigerians want to go there. Even our leaders want to go there and buy property. But the question is, what have they done differently that we cannot do? Today, we see our people who are doing wonders as a Nigeria. These are Nigerians doing so well. But why can't we translate same back here in our nation? It's really mind-boggling when I see some of these things. Yes, I have traveled out. Even our so-called Nigerians that you see, our leaders, when they are out, they behave so well. You see them on train in London, even our governors. You see them smiling foolishly. But the moment they return back to Nigeria, it's another thing entirely. Abraham Lincoln made a statement. He said, be with a leader when he's right. Stay with him when he's still right. But leave him when he's wrong. So I asked myself a question. Could that be true, or could that have played out between these two people in 2015? If it is true that played out in 2015, now the man at the right say he's taking us to the next level. Are we really on the course of going to a higher level? It's still a big question. Or could the case of Nigeria, or could someone be true to say that the case of Nigeria, or the situation most Nigerians are facing right now, is more like from fire to frying pan? Because I am in the system, I am on the field. I see comments being made on Naira Land. I see comments being made by people, the kind of situations that people are feeling, that are even wishing if the previous government was around, because it was even better. Why? Because of the kind of leaders that we have. I look at the past leaders that we have in the last 60 years that have led this country. Sometimes it baffles me. Why on earth have we not done it, or have we not had the right people to change the course of this nation so that we'll be on the right track? What has gone wrong in the past 60 years that we have not got it right with people at the helm of affairs? Now, 2023 is just at the corner. I believe a lot of people are waiting to see what happens next. But I must say, this is a defining moment for all Nigerians. It's going to set us in the path of progress or retrogression. The choice is ours. It's yours and mine. Oh, yes. Because you either compromise your vote for a bag of rice or 2,000 naira and now endure another 4 years of pain. You know, sometimes some of these politicians, it baffles them when they say lies to us and we believe it, because they don't know why we believe it. Because they say all manner of things, people believe their lies and they will come back again. But 2023, I know something great will happen in this nation, but we all have to be at our field to ensure that this nonsense will not continue. Mandela made a statement here in 2007 2007. He said, you know, let me read it quickly here. He said, you know, I'm trying to see if I can remove this thing that is blocking my view in this place. Let me just take it away. He said, you know, I am not very happy with Nigeria. I have made that very clear on many occasions. Yes, Nigeria stood by us more than any nation, but you let yourself down, and Africa and the black race very badly. Your leaders have no respect for their people. They believe that their personal interests are the interests of the people. They take people's resources and turn it into personal wealth. There is a level of poverty in Nigeria that should be unacceptable. I cannot understand why Nigerians are no more angry than they are. This was a statement he made in 2007 by a Mail and Guardian interview, 2007. He said, I cannot understand why Nigerians are no more angry than they are. Do you know why? George Carlin put it this way. He said, never, never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. When you have people who have no intelligence, who are clueless, who have not led themselves, who decide to hijack power, and those who are intelligent decide to sit back, then this is what you see that continues to happen in a nation like Nigeria. That is it. Because when you sit back and I sit back and I have what to offer, but I choose not to, then the stupid people who comes in large group takes over. In fact, it does not matter whether it is a church, a mosque, a school, an organization, or a governmental body. Whenever a group comes together in unity as a team, they become a formidable force that cannot be beaten so easily. And that is what is happening right now in Afghanistan. The Taliban have taken over. Those are people who have come in, stupid people who have come in large groups, and they have taken over the state. In fact, they have taken over their own Asoro. America have decided to leave the place. Biden was making a statement, say, look, I can't run your government for you. We have given you all the ammunition. We have trained all your soldiers. We have given you all the benefit that you need. But we cannot run the affairs of your country for you. I can't do for you what you should do for yourself. It's as simple as ABC. Now, at the moment, people are running to airport, finding ways to run away from the country. Why? Because those who should take charge have run away. They have found a way of escape. They are not ready to take responsibility for their own course of life. And that is the biggest problem any nation could face. And that is what is happening right now in Pakistan, in Afghanistan. In a book, Why Nations Fail, Darren James made a statement, say nations fail, not because they lack leaders necessarily, not because they lack human capital, and not because they don't know what to do. They fail because they have leaders who know what to do, but fail to do it. A lot of our leaders know what to do. They go abroad, they behave well, they pay their taxes there. In fact, they ensure things that even before the government in UK, they know what to do, they do it right. But when they come here, they decide to do it otherwise. Check Nigerians when they come into the country from abroad. Even their attitude from the airport, you see them jumping queues. But when they're in UK at Heathrow Airport, everyone is online. The question is, what's the problem? It boils down to leadership failure. People refusing to do what is right. Obama made a statement. He said, change will not come if we wait for some other persons or some other time. We are the ones who have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. So therefore, change begins with you. Mike Murdoch said, what you are not happy about and you wish to be solved is a clue of what you can do. If you are angry about anything, either in your family, in your environment, at workplace, it is an indication of what you can solve directly or indirectly. If you do not even have the capacity, or you don't have the capacity, you can point it to somebody who can do something about it. It's as simple as that. So anything that is causing irritation about you, about Nigeria, about your environment, about your company, it is an indication that you are a solution to that thing. So we shouldn't stop at complaining. We shouldn't continue to complain or stop and complain without doing anything. That is what leadership essential is all about. You have to rise up to the occasion. Another source of influence, like I mentioned, is what you do for others that enhances their lives positively. Remember the first one? That's what I've been dealing with since, as I'll be rounding off now. Is what you do for yourself that others see that they want, they see in your life. But now what you do for them too also is a source of influence. Because not only have they seen it in your life, there is an attraction, but you are not translating it to them too. Then that's what I call double influence. And I call that empowerment. What is empowerment? From organizational point of view, empowerment is a management practice of sharing information, rewards, and power with employees so that they can take initiative and make decisions to solve problems and improve service and performance. It is based on the idea that giving employees skills, resources, authority, opportunity, motivation, as well as holding them responsible and accountable for outcomes of their actions will contribute to their competence and satisfaction. Now, looking at it from the other side, the nation as leaders, we live in a world where we have leaders who are not ready to give up positions. They are not ready to delegate. In fact, it's only in Africa. You see someone, an incumbent president, running for the system after changing the constitution so many times. Yeah, he's on a sick bed. He's still campaigning to become the president. Why? Because they don't want to give up that power because it is sweet. They are not ready to give out. Those who should give, they close the door. My friend here, Lee Kuan Yew, made a statement. He said, I have no regrets whatsoever. I have no regret. I have spent my life, so much of it, building up this country. There's nothing more that I need to do. At the end of the day, what have I got? A successful Singapore. What have I given up? My life. He lived a life of giving. That is empowerment. He lived a life of totally giving up all to the society, to his people. So great leaders who empower others, who are great influencers, they are givers. Mas Maro made a statement, say, don't be a generational thief. We have so many leaders who stole the future of the yet unborn, that even the ones that are coming up, they have stolen all that is for them. That is not how things are supposed to be. We are meant to give, but not to take. Yes, it's more blessed to give than to receive, because even in give, you always have a return. And that is the lie. Some of them don't know that when you even give, you have more return. But they want to grab, put money in a GP tank, hide some money in dollars in order that they can't even remember again. And some of them, they've lost relevance in their lives in the society. As I round off, in a few seconds, I'm going to give you some food for thought. Number one, it is the greatest of all mistakes to do nothing because you can only do little. Do what you can, says Sidney Smith. You see, it is the greatest of all mistakes to do nothing because you can only do little. Just do what you can to make a difference in the society. Muhammad Ali said, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Number three, Mother Teresa, she said, if you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Never worry about numbers. Help one person at a time, and always start with the person nearest you. In so doing, you are making a difference. Number four, Winston Churchill. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Because leaders are givers. Abba Switzer said, wherever a man turns, he can find someone who needs him. Yes, anyone, anywhere you turn, there is somebody who needs you and you can be of help. And finally, Sunshine Magazine said this. He said, he who gives when he's asked has waited too long. Say, he who gives when he's asked has waited too long. So you don't have to wait until you are asked. Be very sensitive to see the needs around and meet them. And finally, as a round off, leadership is not a position. It is the life that we live that makes a difference in the life of others. Thank you all for listening, and God bless you all.